ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Just Plain Living. I'm Jim Fuller, sitting in for John Gray today, and
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Always nice to work with the lovely Peggy Burton.
I was getting nervous thinking I was going to have an empty chair there. You know John loves to talk. Hi, John. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, we do. I spoke with John last night. He is having a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
John had surgery last week, and so
on his back.
believe me, if he was possibly able to be here, he would be here because
John
Gray loves doing television.
He is one of those people that, regardless, steps up and he's there. So, John, we're going to handle it without you.
Yeah, we might
go back to bed.
Go back to bed, John. That's right. I think he's got a great nurse though at home.
Yes, he does.
Who's taking really good care of him. So.
And Fran had a birthday yesterday.
She did.
She sure did.
We're not going to tell you which one, but she had one yesterday.
So happy late birthday, Fran. We hope you're okay.
Peggy and I were sitting here just a moment ago, trying to think. Do we know anything about what's going on in Tullahoma this week? And
well, a few things. And a lot of things goes on in Tullahoma, which is exciting. I try to read the paper, but I don't see well anymore, and it makes it hard for me to find out all the news. But there's a lot of things going on. In case you remember, South Jackson Goes Country auditions are this coming Sunday and Monday. Sunday, I believe, is in the afternoon starting at 2, and Monday probably at 6, but I don't have all that in my head. Call 455-5321 and check it out.
Which is kind of unusual that you would not know that, because for many, many years. How many of those shows did you direct?
I did 40. And on the 40th show, I pushed it into, I believe I did 40. Who knows that I can remember. Samantha Waters, who is fabulous.
Right.
I loved her forever and taught her in high school, and she went on to Belmont to study music. So she's done a great job.
Yeah.
She is kind, she is smart, she is tech savvy. I mean, she's just an amazing young lady.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate to have her.
Tech savvy is really important.
I know.
These days, and it always amazes me how these young folks
just
really
get it instantly.
Yeah,
they just get it. They're right on top of
it. And when you get my age and you're still in the workforce, you sometimes have to struggle with
I know it. And you need to know it, and then there's a new thing every day. I mean, you can buy a brand new computer and tomorrow it's old.
Right.
The technology is so far above my head at times.
Yeah.
I try hard to stay in the in the era if I can.
I tell you what ruined me, and that's at one point 30 years ago, I could do pretty much anything technically there with computers. But then we started a business, and my partner, who a lot of you know is Pam, was just out of college, and she went to work with us, and of course she knew everything, and still does. You know,
I'm sure she does. She stays caught up.
But anyway, she sort of was real good at that, and I just let her do it. And then I woke up about 20 years later, and I thought, wait a minute.
What is it?
You know, what
have I missed?
I don't really know anything.
My husband, who died 20 years ago, he said to me at some point, I'm not going to learn to do the computer. Don't even talk to me about it.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not touching it. And I took lessons. I had somebody come to my house because I sort of taught myself, but I had to have somebody instruct me. And then I'd practice his stuff for a week. The next week he'd come back and teach me something else.
Sort of like learning to play the piano.
Right, having a music lesson. I had a computer lesson, and that's what got me through.
Yeah.
And I slowly but surely, I even took the class at Motlow, and all the lingo was so over my head, I couldn't grasp it as quick enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I hired somebody to help me.
Oh, well, you know, we learned to adjust.
We learned to adjust.
And, you know, Peggy was talking about she did 40 of the South Jackson Goes Country. And did you do the first one?
I did the first one. It was when we came into this building in Tullahoma at South Jackson Performing Arts Center. And I was in a meeting with several people who were interested in theater and this and that. And the question was asked, does anybody in this group know how to raise money? And I raised my hand. I always did that. I always said yes.
Yeah.
I can do it. And I said, all you have to do is put a country show on the stage, put about 100 people in the show, and you're going to sell out.
Yeah.
And it has worked.
Yeah.
It has really worked.
It's truly amazing that it has come that far, I think.
To still be on,
Yeah.
I am impressed that it still goes on, and it's migrated into different forms, and it's way different than what I did at the beginning, because at the beginning I did everything. I won't say I shouldn't have said that. I had some helpers, but I thought up what I needed to do to get it done. Anyway, there was a lot of work there, and I had some really good help.
In the days when you first started South Jackson Goes Country, was country music a happening thing in this
Country
area?
music in Tennessee was big, yeah. It was, and we didn't have anything like that going on in our area, and that facility was, not great in those days. It's really pretty nice now, and
it is.
Seats are going in.
Yeah.
Next month. No, not June, but July. Going in July. Brand new seats, and I'm thrilled to death about that. Anybody out there want to buy a seat? They're $300. Get all your friends and neighbors together, get 300 people together to pay $1 a piece, and you got a seat. No, we wouldn't have to sell them.
You guys have replaced the seats in there once, I believe.
Yeah, they came from some theater somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I remember those seats moving in, and then somebody went off and brought in curtains from somewhere. It might have been me. I don't know. I don't remember everything I did. There was so much. And then we had Shirley Moore, whose second husband, did the floors. And that's a huge job.
Right.
I hope I have the name right. Anyway, a lot of stuff has gone on to keep that building open.
Speaking of country music, it's kind of strange, but when I first went to work for the American Legion in Tullahoma, I had lived in Atlanta for the previous 5 years, and country music was big in Atlanta, Georgia at that time, and everybody would you'd run into people, and they'd say, where are you from? And you tell them you're from Tullahoma, just south of Nashville.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to know, have you ever been to the Grand Ole Opry?
Right.
They were excited about
Have you ever
that.
been to the Grand Ole Opry?
I have now, but at that point I had not.
Right.
I've been to it 3 times.
I went
since I
once
moved
when I
back.
was in high school, and I was not a big Opry fan, to tell you the truth.
Honestly, it was strange. There were a couple of big clubs in Atlanta that's what they did. I mean, they were the size of Cowboys here in Tullahoma. If you folks remember that.
And that I remember it, and that was pretty big.
But strangely enough, when I came to work with the Legion, music lovers that would frequent a lounge or a dance hall were not into country music.
I know.
They were into rock and roll stuff, and then John, when he came to work there several years later, we both liked country music, but
we've all watched country music migrate from certain styles as it moves on down to.
I think I'm still stuck in maybe the late 70s, 80s country music.
Yeah, I think I am too.
A lot of the stuff today I'm not really into, but
it's still the major theme is you're losing your woman and your dog running off with your wife or whatever.
Something bad happened. I went through a period where I didn't really
drinking and smoking and carrying on.
That's right. But
John, has written quite a few country songs,
of course,
and he does it well. But that's not all he does. He writes other things. Oh, by the way, the gala at South Jackson is, whatever Saturday is.
Yeah.
It's the gala,
like the 5th.
And it's all about gambling.
Yeah.
And they've got food and drink and this and that, and it should be a big deal.
Right.
Yeah. And then on the 4th at South Jackson, which is Tuesday night, we have the International Folk Festival coming, which I'm excited about, because bringing people from other countries into our country that aren't sneaking across the border is kind of rare.
Right.
These people are dancing, and I encourage people to come out and see it. Here they are. Here's some of them. We have people from Mexico, Czech Republic, Great Britain, and the United States are represented. And to look at costuming, I think that might be Mexico. I don't see as well as I used to, but the costumes last year were absolutely brilliant, and that's one of my favorite things to see. That looks like it might be Czech Republic, but it could be Great Britain. I'm just not sure.
And that's one of the neat things about the Civic Center is they bring you all kinds of different entertainment. So whatever you're into, that's...
yeah, you can find it. And I am performing arts chairman, and my goal is to bring stuff in that's not necessarily what you can see here.
Right.
I love bringing in things like cultural things from other countries and sometimes across the United States.
And you seem to have, Peggy, an understanding of all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know...
well, partly where I got that was traveling. You know, in every country we'd go into, there'd be exciting things. We always belonged to the orchestra or the symphony people, and we go to a lot of different things. And I did tour with the United States group once, and we toured many different countries. I was singing, I wasn't dancing. I'm not that good. But Leah Hewlin, remember her?
I remember Leah.
Leah, who I love, she's like my child. She was about 15 or 16 that year that I went, and she was honored from here to Kingdom Come. Everybody loved her. She was amazing.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's a lot of stuff going on.
You know, before we run out of time in this segment, we do want to congratulate the Tullahoma High School baseball team.
Absolutely.
Who won the Tennessee 3A championship last week.
That's awesome.
And just a great performance. Congratulations to all those kids, and to the manager, Brian Morris, who is himself a former Major League Baseball player and has been on this show numerous times, and he retired, I think, in 2017, and was fortunate enough to get the head coaching job.
And how lucky those kids are to have him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he probably learned. His daddy was a brilliant baseball guy, and he coached Brian through the years, and Brian got all that knowledge.
That's amazing.
And plus his experiences in the major league, and it is amazing. And he's done a fantastic job.
A lot of great teachers in Tullahoma.
They not only won the state championship, but they went through that process and just kind of dominated. There were some numbers I saw on the internet yesterday, the day before. They scored like 65 runs during the process.
Oh my goodness.
Of that tournament, and their opponents scored 13. Their team batting average was like 318. Just a phenomenal number when you consider the team batting average. And so, congratulations to those guys. Once again, another state championship from Tullahoma High School.
That is awesome.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. We'll be right back in just a moment with today's show.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton's Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop with Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration, your #1 hometown HVAC company. We offer dependable and reliable service on all your HVAC equipment. We also offer high-efficiency trained cooling units. Call us for your cooling needs. Your comfort is what we do.
It's summer, call Stroop.
Saul, how's my water quality expert? Litter is taking a holiday and going with the flow? Is that what you're saying? Litter on our roadways is flowing into our waterways. Gotcha. And that's bad. Right, terrible. Please stop. Oh, okay, yeah. Go to NobodyTrashesTennessee.com to learn more. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back to Just Plain Living, ladies and gentlemen. I had to think for a moment what we're calling this show right now. It's been a while since I've actually hosted the Living Show. We're pleased to have on the set with us now Emma Cook. And Emma is a new employee with the city of Tullahoma, and she's here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about what she does and how she got here. You're not from Tullahoma, are you, originally?
No, I'm not even from Tennessee.
Yeah, okay.
You're from?
Well, I was born and raised in Michigan, but more recently moved here from North Dakota. So,
which is a long way from home.
It is.
So
we're proud to have you.
How did you end up here?
Well, I have some family in the area. My grandparents have always lived in Lewisburg, so I kind of grew up visiting the area. And I got really sick of winter, and so I wanted to move somewhere south with a little bit nicer weather, and I fell in love with the area. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're
occasionally
proud to have you.
A little rough patch in the wintertime.
I like a little snow.
Which we like. We think it's horrible, but it's probably really not.
Yeah.
You know, so. And you are a new employee of the city of Tullahoma. Tell us what you do.
So my title is Community Engagement Officer. So I really work across departments with the city, just making sure that the community understands what the government is doing for them, and then making some fun things for the community to do. We've been working on Food Truck Fridays, which has been a huge success, giving folks a space to come and enjoy those small businesses, farmers markets, things like that, just trying to bring the community together to work on some of these initiatives to better the area.
I think there's a lot of things going on in Tullahoma and small businesses that we don't really know about enough.
Yeah.
And so you operate through them?
Yep, and just working to make sure that people know of those things happening, and being sort of that communicator link between the two.
Food Truck Friday, tell us a little bit about what that is. There's been, at some point, a little controversy about food trucks as far as the permitting process. But this seems to be a very positive thing, I think, as people view food trucks. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, so every Friday at Fraser McEwen Park, we have a rotating lineup of food trucks. So there'll be anywhere from 2 to 5 food trucks there, giving folks a space to come and support those businesses. We try to have a mix of food there, and then also a dessert truck. We have like Mooville Cookies and Cream is an amazing one that does ice cream sandwiches, which is great for the summer. But we'll also be working on doing some programming down there too, to make it more of, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your coworkers to come down and enjoy lunch in a beautiful city park and supporting those businesses.
Right. How long have you been in Tullahoma now?
Actually, just 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost 3 months, not even.
Yeah, you like it so far?
I love it. Yeah, the community is absolutely fantastic. I think it's a great place to settle down, and I see so much opportunity on the horizon for the area, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're proud we have you here.
Thank you.
You mentioned another program that the city that you're helping coordinate. Talk about that one as well.
So the farmers market, we have a farmers market every Monday in the parking lot of South Jackson from 3 to 6, and it's a great mix of artisans and local farmers from the area, and we're starting to see more of the produce now that it's that time of year, but definitely encourage folks to go out and support those business owners too.
I see a lot of positive things on social media about the farmers market, so I have to guess that it's pretty popular with the citizens.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing better than a farmer's tomato.
Yes.
You just can't.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just outside.
Peggy and I are always
I think it's the cow manure that goes in the garden.
You think it is?
Yeah, because I grew up on a farm, but there's nothing better than.
We haven't seen tomatoes yet, but I'm hoping they
will
come
once
soon
they
because
come.
I've been anticipating their arrival.
Best I remember about tomatoes is once they hit, everybody's got thousands of them, and then they're gone.
And you don't know which one to get, but you don't know who's got the best tomatoes.
Yeah.
And they have fresh meat. I know that one of the guys, maybe more, bring in fresh.
Yep. And there's a guy that comes and makes kettle corn too, which is absolutely amazing.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
my weakness.
That is the best.
Yeah, he makes it right there on site. It's almost like a food truck, kind of, but very good.
And that happens at the Civic Center as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
In the parking lot every Monday.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's a good opportunity if you want to get fresh vegetables and that sort of thing to carry home and cook. You can do that.
It's a good idea to take your bag with you so that you can fill it full, and they have some wonderful things. They have things other than fresh vegetables. I think sometimes I see jellies and jams for sale that they have homemade. Anyways.
Somebody bakes some breads too. There's someone that sells homemade laundry detergent, which is good.
Right.
Without all laundry detergent.
Yeah, without all those chemicals in it, which is good. And there's someone that sells like birdhouses too. I got my mom a birdhouse for Mother's Day from the farmers market.
So you can buy gifts or you can buy food.
Yeah, exactly.
I think your job used to be called community coordinator or something to that effect. Was it?
Yep.
Winston Brooks had that job at one time, and he's moved up into something else, I think.
Yeah, he's the economic development director for the Tullahoma area economic development. Yeah.
How did you get into this line of work? Did you go to school for this, or?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and then a bachelor's degree in corporate communications. But most of my career has been in that community development. When I was in North Dakota, I worked for the governor's office, helping communities across the state kind of implement some of these initiatives. And so I've always loved it. I love places that have a sense of community. I love being a part of creating that sense of community, whether it's, farmers markets or food trucks or different events that help activate downtown. So it's always been a passion of mine, and
that's awesome.
Lucky enough to be able to find a job where I can do that and make a difference.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So you enjoy this kind of work. You really can't call it work if you're having fun.
No, exactly. I'm excited to come to work every day. So what more can you really ask for?
Yeah.
I noticed that sometimes they have musicians at the food park there, and I think that's kind of a gift.
Yeah.
That you have music going on while you do your shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if they do it every time, but I have been there a few times when they did, and I liked that.
Now that the weather's getting nicer and summer's here, we'll start doing more of that. And one of the events that Parks and Rec had at Food Truck Friday was a swing dancing, which was really cool to see all the people of all different ages out there learning to swing dance. But then you have the food trucks there too, and it kind of pulls it together into a nice evening for everyone.
It had to be exciting working for the governor's office, I would think.
Yeah, it was. But I always wanted to be in one community where I could really be a part of
Right.
making some of these things come alive. So.
Right.
Do you think this Tullahoma is about the right size community to be in?
I think so, yeah. And I think a lot of people now are looking for communities of about this size. I know I've never been a big city person.
Yeah.
But finding something that's not necessarily, a town of 500 that has things that you can do, but also still has that small town feel.
Are we still about 20,000?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Which makes me surprised that it hasn't grown more.
Well, I don't know. When I was in high school, it was about 7,000.
7,000.
That was a long time.
No.
Time ago.
I think that growth is coming for Tullahoma.
I think so, yeah.
And I think it's inevitable for any community, but there's a lot of efforts happening right now to help plan in a smart way
Right.
to have that controlled and quality growth to make the community what we want to see for future generations, something that our kids will come back
Exactly.
to.
That is a true statement, what you just said. And sometimes I'm afraid that people don't realize the importance of those in the city government who actually do that sort of thing, how important that is to the long-term good health of our community.
Yeah.
And I think that having the kids graduate from college and choose to come back to Tullahoma, I've seen a lot of that since I've been here.
Yeah.
And that's a real plus. That's how to keep a city alive.
You also mentioned you had some background and some education in journalism. Did you want to be a journalist at one time?
Way back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a sports journalist, but
Oh, how cool.
yeah, life took me a different direction.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Did you ever work at all in that field?
No, I went directly into, I actually worked in oil and gas for about 8 years.
Yeah.
So, no, but it was always sort of that pipe dream of mine.
Yeah.
Oil and gas. What were you doing in oil and gas?
So I did community and economic development there as well, managing corporate giving and making sure that
Fabulous, yeah.
the company was present and a part of the communities they operated
I
in.
see.
So I've always been, every title I've ever had has had community in it in some way. So
Good.
it's definitely been a passion of mine from the beginning.
It sounds like you're definitely in the right profession, though. And
Yeah.
you seem to have a passion about it, and I think you're going to do extremely well. And
Oh, thank you.
we're really tickled to have you in Tullahoma.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah, thank you.
and speaking with us today. All right, folks, we'll be right back in just a moment, right after these messages.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rick. I almost forgot my lines there, Pat. You struggled a little bit with that, John. And this is Pat Welch, and we're here today with segment 52 of the Conversation with John and Pat. I'm going to do a song about the Andy Griffith Show. I wrote it a long time ago, and when you hear the name Gomer in there, and Goober, well, the segment, we're going to bring back the thought about Gomer. Okay. And this would be a great let's make one more attempt to get people ready for the John and Pat marathon. See, the Andy Griffith marathons were the ones I enjoyed the most. Mayberry's marathons. Yeah, well, Chapel Hill was sort of like Mayberry, so that I could identify with it. Sure. And I guess Tullahoma was probably 100 years ago. I don't know. You know. We're pretty cosmopolitan over here, John. When I was a kid, about 9 or 10, Andy Griffith was my favorite show. I'd sit and pretend I was playing a part. Mayberry was a place I wanted to go. Sheriff Andy Taylor never wore no gun, but Barney Fife kept them all in the step. But I bet you if he'd ever had to use his gun, he probably would have shot himself. Gomer and Goober at the filling station made me laugh until my sides would ache. And Emmett, the fix-it man with his hammer, couldn't mend anything that you might break. They were all laid back with a how do you do, gee whiz, and a golly. If I had my pick of any place on earth, I'd have lived in Mayberry. And I'd sit on the porch and pick with Andy, make guys at Thelma Lou. Get thrown in the pokey with Otis Campbell, that's something I always wanted to do. Skip rocks on the pond with Opie, chit-chat with old Aunt Bee. Ride with Barney with his siren on through the streets of Mayberry. More rumors got started with Floyd the barber than anyone I've ever known. And Clara Edwards and old Aunt Bee kept it going on the telephone. Then Barney'd get nervous like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But Andy'd come along in just a nick of time to calm him down and clear the air. No one ever will forget the good Mayor Stoner, Ben Weaver, or Howard Sprague. And down at the schoolhouse, pretty Miss Helen, who stole Andy's heart away. I was just a kid, but even then I dreamed how sweet this world would be if life was simple and we all were happy, like the folks of Mayberry. Man, that was awesome. You know, John, Andy. Why isn't some group doing that song? That's a good question. Why can't we get some royalty payments at the same time? Well, it would help out. Yeah, it would help a man in retirement. You know, one of my favorite scenes on any of the Andy Griffith song was, you remember, a gentleman. His name was Rafe, and he was out in the country, and they had a really nice-looking state nurse show up that her record showed Rafe hadn't had his tetanus shot. So they threw him in jail. He wasn't going to have a shot. He just throw me in jail. I'll stay in here, you know. So Andy got his guitar, went in there, and sang a song that he made up about attending Rafe's wake that he died. And by the time he finished, Rafe was crying. He could hardly wait to get that shot. 30 minutes, they could settle a lot of issues. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to ask Philip to put up the first picture. This is Claude Osteen. And he was a hero of ours over in Chapel Hill, you know, when we were growing up, because he was a professional baseball pitcher. And in 1965, they played the Twins in a World Series, and Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax lost the first 2 games to the Twins. And then the 3rd game, he was in the rotation and won that game. And then the next time Koufax and Drysdale came back to pitch the next games, and they went up, and they finally won the series. And Claude Osteen is well thought of over there. He was a Marshall County boy. He grew up in Chapel Hill, went to Forest for probably until he was about 14, and then his parents found work. His daddy found some work in Cincinnati. Huh. I did not know that. Yeah, and Ray Eves has told me that he played ball against Claude in like Connie Mack League or whatever that might have been back that time, Babe Ruth or whatever. Was Ray they called from it. Marshall County? Or Ray is he doesn't admit it, but Ray is a Marshall County native. He's Lewisburg though. All right. He's south of the river. Yeah. Well, I was going to say that when Claude would have been down in Chapel Hill at the time where people in Chapel Hill were just fighting and scratching to see if they could just make it to Lewisburg, and those that made Tullahoma were just like yourself was exceptional advancement. This man made it all the way to Los Angeles. Well, he did, and they called him Gomer because of his appearance. He had that look sort of like Jim Neighbors, I guess. There he is again. Yeah. And you can see, I saw him pitch one time, and you see how his head is squared up on his face? Right. Well, the sun was coming in from one angle, and he had the bill of that hat turned over toward the sun, and he was a sight. Yeah. He didn't care what he looked like. I didn't realize he's left-handed. Yes, sir. He was good. And so 2 of their top 3 pitchers then were left-handed because Koufax would have been left-handed. Now, and I'm going to take this now. We transition into Tullahoma, and Mr. Bob Osteen, Robert Osteen, was my principal, and show that. They're 2 well-fed boys right there. That's corn-fed. That one on the left has some hair there too. But anyway, and he looked like he's napping. But that's I was awake. Well, when you eat that much, you sometimes are a little drowsy. Oh, that's good. That's good, Pat. But anyway, Mr. Osteen was a cousin to Claude. Mr. Osteen. That's I was going to ask you what the relationship was. Now, Mr. Osteen, Bob Osteen, his brother Don, Bill, and Ralph, and Mr. Osteen, they all played ball together on a Chapel Hill team that really were very good. They were exceptional baseball players, and I think a couple of those guys went on to play. Well, maybe all of them played a little college ball, a little semi-pro ball, or whatever. Yeah. Mr. Osteen, though. That was a tough family, though, John. In our ventures to Chapel Hill to look at when you can eke out a living on a flat rock, you're doing pretty good. And you took me near where the Osteens, all that old Osteen family, what part of Marshall County it was, they weren't in Chapel Hill per se, they were a little bit south, I guess it was, and it was really rocky. It was, if you can live and eat on that, there are 2 rock quarries across the road now. That shows you just how much lime. I believe Marshall County could really supply the world with lime if they need it. But anyway, going back to Mr. Osteen, he had a sister named Betty Jane, and she was Miss MTSC at that time, Middle Tennessee State College at that time, 1957. So not only was the guys strong and good athletes, the daughter was pretty beautiful, and most ladies in Chapel Hill are that way. I've noticed that about Tullahoma as well. To the detriment where the men weren't very good looking, I guess. Had to make up for it somewhere, didn't it? Yeah, that's right. But that's just natural selection. Charles Darwin may have been wrong about several things, but you turn the heat up on a group, the fittest are going to be the ones to survive, and they are going to be the Mr. Osteen pick of the lot. And I want to tell you that Mr. Osteen, you can never outdo him. He would always tell a story that would top yours. No matter what, I caught a fish that long, Mr. Osteen. Well, I caught one this long. You know how he talk? So sometimes with fingers long like that. But anyway, he'd say one time he said, I raised some of the biggest potatoes you ever saw. And I said, I got big potatoes too. Well, he'd bring his and I'd bring mine. He's beating mine, but I think they were his dad-in-law's potatoes, to tell you the truth. But anyway, whatever he did. And now, this Claude Osteen was a great ball player, and Mr. Osteen said, well, when I was playing ball, he was our bat boy. He'd always talk. Oh, it's good talking about Mr. Osteen, about Claude, and then about how you connect with Chapel Hill. And how, don't be embarrassed about how horrible your roots were. It made them tough. That was one. It did. Mr. Osteen he played football, wrestled, and baseball at MTSU, and he couldn't have been but 5'6", 5'7", something like that. But I'm telling you what, he was a horse of a man. Well, it's time to go, Pat. It is. We have concluded 52, and 53 is coming up, and 52 will be the last time that we make an unabashed plea for the marathon. We're gonna now live on faith and trust that it will take place, John. I have faith. I have trust. Over and out. Thank you all.
Talking history about this and that. It's Conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're pleased to have joining us on the set now Jackie Duncan. And Jackie is a man of who has many talents.
Absolutely.
He's a poet, a politician.
Yeah. I don't like to use that word politician.
And has
servant, citizen servant.
But the most important thing is Jackie has been Tullahoma's most eligible bachelor for about the last 40 years.
Well, longer than that, really.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
Confirmed bachelor.
Oh boy. Well, not really confirmed. You know, I've been engaged a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. This last time I was engaged to a fine lady.
Yes, you did.
She was a college professor. She taught psychology at Tennessee Tech University in Cookeville, and she was one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And Dr. Gloria Griffith.
Yeah.
And she was a blessing in my life, and I tried to be a blessing in her life. I retired early, partly as a result of that. As a result of she got sick, and my mother was sick, both at the same time. And so I was at the point in life where I could retire early to be a blessing to both of them.
Right.
And I did that. And so I retired and took care of her and took care of my mother and helped take care of my mother. And so anyway, but it was just a blessing. But I got close. I was close, but if she
okay.
And if she hadn't passed, she didn't. She had succumbed to the illness, and it's breast cancer. And anyway, if she hadn't left on me, I'd have been tied up, man.
Go ahead and say the word. You'd have been married to her.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
She was beautiful.
She was.
I know she was.
She was a sweet person.
Inside and out.
She sure was. But I've had just lately, I've got a couple of things that are really starting to register in my mind and in my heart, have been for a while. And one of them is some birthdays that are coming up.
Right.
And one of them is my friend Tommy Gwynn. He's coming up with his 105th
Is that not
birthday.
fabulous?
105.
Yeah, lives here in Tullahoma.
Lives here in Tullahoma, just about 10 blocks from here.
And isn't he a World War II
He's a World
veteran?
War II and a Korean War
Yes.
Oh, I know he was
hero.
speaking it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Hero, not just veteran,
Right.
he's a hero.
Right.
Yeah, and he
was
was
a hero,
captured in
absolutely.
Korea twice, and he
Escaped.
escaped both times. Sure
Right.
Sure did. But I had the honor of meeting another lady. I had dinner with another 104-year-old that I just met her last week at the. I get asked quite a bit, have been for the last several years, doing the invocation for the Tennessee Backroads Heritage Society. At they have a couple of annual dinners that, or a couple of dinners that during the year at the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall.
Oh, Banquet.
Banquet Hall, yeah. And so anyway, these are events that they have speakers, and they've had some of the Channel 8 some of the celebrities from Channel 8 on public broadcasting on,
Right.
and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he does a lot of backroads type things, and so that really coincided with their program, Tennessee Backroads Heritage Society. And so, but there's a group that they're located here in Tullahoma and I think Manchester area and wherever, but they promote the back roads of Tennessee
and what's
all
going
the
on,
businesses, and the businesses and things that are going on. And so that was truly a blessing. They had a speaker there, and I was there to do the invocation and have dinner, of course. And I met this the nicest 104-year-old lady sit down at my table and had dinner with me. She and her family members, and she's 100. Her name is Polly, and she's from Calvin. And so, and she has called me since then, and had an idea of how I could make money with my book. I said, "Oh, that's such
great.
a blessing! 104 years old, And I'm just
wonderful.
blessed to know two people right now that at 104. Mr. Gwynn was going to be 105 in June next week, really, and Polly's going to be 105 in August.
Unbelievable.
So it is such a blessing. I am just thrilled right now in my life to know these people and to have a good relationship with them. And I want to be at both of their birthday parties and just to bless them any way I can.
And their minds are still working.
Their minds are still working. Sure are. I'm working on Mr. Gwynn got me working on a project for him. So anyway. That's good, but
well, I'm glad you were able to stop by today and that we could recognize these two people.
Yes,
bless their hearts.
Yes,
and you got some tips from the young lady about how you could make some money. Of course, Jackie doesn't need any money. Jackie has all the money.
I wish.
So,
I wish.
All right, it looks like we're about out of time. Jackie, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Today. Always great.
We always love having you here.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back after this, folks.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sit here for just a moment. This past weekend was, as most of you know, I'm sure, was Memorial Day weekend, and lots of festivities going on in Tullahoma. We're proud to be able to bring you some of the Memorial Day festivities from Tullahoma.
Good morning, everyone. I hate to interrupt the camaraderie and conversations that are going on this morning because that's important that we have that opportunity. Okay, we need a little help. The mic's on as loud as it will go. Okay, how's that? Okay, just talk into it. Well, welcome to everyone this morning. The Sandy has kept the rain away up until now, and we thank you for doing that, Ms. Sebring. We thank you for the Garden Club and the American Legion for being very active in hosting this event today. And I want to remind you ahead of time that the American Legion is hosting lunch across the street. So you've heard that there are no free lunches. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are. There's free lunches across the street today, so please take advantage of that. So we want to welcome all the elected officials that are here today. I've seen our state representative, Mr. Bricken, in the crowd. I've seen one of our aldermen here in the crowd, Mr. Alderman Berry. If there are others, I'm sorry that I've missed you, but welcome to all of you. So this morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and honored veterans, welcome to History Park. As we gather on this weekend before Memorial Day, it's a time for celebration and remembrance. So today, as we stand together in remembrance and gratitude for the courageous souls who've made the ultimate sacrifice in service for our nation, and as we gather in this historic park, surrounded by the echoes of the past, let us pause and reflect on the profound significance of this day. Memorial Day is a time-honored tradition, a day set aside to honor the men and women who've laid down their lives to defend the freedoms that we hold clear. It's a day to remember the selflessness, the bravery, and the unwavering commitment of those who have answered the call for duty, knowing well that the risks that they faced. So today, let us pay tribute to the fallen heroes whose sacrifices have blessed and secured the blessings of liberty in the generations to come. So let us honor their memory, not only with our words, but with our actions, by upholding the values that they fought to defend. Also today, let us remember the families of the fallen, whose lives have been forever changed by the lives of their loved ones. Many they find some in the knowledge that their sacrifices will never be forgotten and that their loved ones will always hold a sacred place in their hearts and a grateful nation. So on this Memorial Day, let us come together as a community to honor the heroes that have gone before us, to express our gratitude for their sacrifice, and to ensure that their memory lives on in the hearts of all Americans. So thank you for joining us in this solemn commemoration. May we never forget the true meaning of Memorial Day, and may we always cherish the freedoms for which so many have given their lives. So at this time, American Legion will post the colors.
Please rise if you're able to post the colors for the Tullahoma Fire Department.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glared, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Remain standing and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll be followed by the pastor.
As we start this time together, let us take just a minute to think about our heritage in terms of what God has done through the years. You know, the man who wrote most of the New Testament, his name Paul, over and over again, as he would write, he would say, remember. It's good to remember. It encourages us to remember the past and learn. It encourages us to understand that there is someone who holds the future in his hands. And that means so much to us. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this moment of gathering outside today. We thank you for the reason we gather and the fact that we can look back and see the working of your hand over our lives and over the life of this nation from the time that we were nothing but just a few colonies unto the nation that we are today. Father, we pray, thanking you for the different types of heroes you've given us through the years. We thank you today, and one of the reasons we're here is a walkway that has the names of individuals. And Father, we realize that the only reason those blocks mean so much to us is because of the person. It's already been said, but we want to say it again to you, Father. Thank you. Thank you for those who have come and you have gifted to give leadership for this nation in so many ways, and for the many who followed. You don't need a leader unless there's someone to lead. Thank you for those who have followed you so faithfully and have been so willing to go forward. We thank you for those who have given up the most precious thing they had, and that was their life, to defend this nation. Father, we realize that we stop a moment and remember so that we might step forward faithfully. We pray to do that. Thank you for these who are represented here, for these who will be represented with the blocks that we put in place today. And we pray for the future now, that you will continue to send those who will lead according to your will, and that this nation might truly find a way to continue to walk in your shadow and be blessed. We commit this time to you with a thank you and asking for your blessing and hope in the future. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank the Lord above for living here today, 'cause this flag still stands for freedom, and you can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there's pride in every American heart, and I'm proud to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. The USA.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Senior Living. Active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce Dr. Elizabeth Taylor to the Tullahoma Memorial Day service. We have come to know Dr. Taylor as a best-selling nonfiction author of several books on Camp Forest and a researcher of World War II history. Dr. Taylor is also a retired higher education administrator with a doctorate in public administration, master's degrees in both political science and public administration, and has completed graduate history coursework. For over a decade, she has been researching topics such as World War II, the U.S. home front, and Camp Forest. She enjoys reading and writing about U.S. military history, and her research has come to center on Camp Forest in Tullahoma, Tennessee. We are standing here today on a rich piece of American history. Dr. Taylor currently maintains the Camp Forest website and welcomes individuals to contact her with stories, World War II memorabilia, and photographs. She's with us today as a survivor of the traffic battle between Atlanta and Tullahoma. Please welcome Dr. Elizabeth Taylor.
Thank you so much for those kind words. Can everybody hear me? I am so thankful to be here today as we remember and honor the men and women who never returned home. I was asked today to talk about Camp Forest, which, as Sandy said, is something that I've truly enjoyed doing for the last decade. I'm always flattered when people tell me about their personal connections to this World War II military installation. People tell stories about Camp Forest even though it was decommissioned and dismantled in 1946. It's been over 80 years since the sounds of jeeps and tanks and planes could be heard roaring throughout this area. But for me, I still enjoy hearing about civilians who reached out to make soldiers of all ethnicities feel at home. Many soldiers have stated how this small town in Middle Tennessee made the sadness of their first experience away from home less painful. There are so many things I could say about civilians who had an everlasting impact on Camp Forest and its soldiers. But today, I'm here to tell you just a little bit more about Camp Forest and to honor those who passed through her gates and paid the ultimate sacrifice for us. Now, some of you may be familiar with Camp Forest and the activities that occurred during its 5 years of operation here. But for those that you've never heard of it, it was an induction training and prisoner of war facility located about 2 miles from here. If you travel down Wattendorf Highway as you're going toward AEDC or Interstate 24, you're traveling down the center of the original Camp Forest grounds. So the next time you're on that highway, I want you to slow down a little bit and look to the left and look to the right. And there are roads that jut off and they've got dirt berms blocking them off. Those roads are the original company streets of Camp Forest. And so as you're driving down, I want you to take a moment and think about the hundreds of thousands of soldiers that were there preparing for war against the Axis powers. Now, Camp Forest was a self-contained city on about 80,000 acres. It was, in fact, the 5th largest city in Tennessee throughout its operation. Home to over 70,000 soldiers training in infantry, artillery, armor, engineer, airborne, combat support, and combat service support units. To date, I am aware of about 55 units that trained at Camp Forest. Now, whether those units were stationed here on long or short-term assignments or were unattached units, I think it's safe to say that the Camp Forest experience and the knowledge that those service members attained and took to the front can't be undervalued. There were combat units such as the 33rd Division, the 80th Division, the 30th Division that perfected their fighting skills as they continued to learn of the horrors taking place in the war overseas. The often forgotten combat support units, our MPs, our firefighters, nurses, doctors, lawyers, and cooks, just to name a few, received advanced training at Camp Forest to help support soldiers on those front lines. We had specialized units such as the 2nd and 5th Rangers who honed their skills here. Most have heard of the heroics these men did on June 6th. D-Day, as they scaled the cliffs at Pointe du Hoc. But we need to also take a moment to remember the casualties that they suffered that day. I'd like to think that there were fewer casualties since those Rangers perfected their climbing skills here on the many cliffs located throughout this part of Tennessee. But we can't forget that this is only one of the many divisions that sustained casualties during this time of war. A lot lately I've reflected on the legacy of Camp Forest. And I've come to the conclusion that legacy is not the artifacts we leave behind or the signs that we erect to remember. It's the human element, the people of this historical narrative. The legacy lies with those individuals who passed through Camp Forrest Gate 1. And some of those that passed through were men being inducted into service. Newspapers indicate over 145,000 were inducted at Camp Forrest, and while they may have been sent to other military bases for training, they started their service here, and they got to know the people here. There were those that experienced the rigors of training. Now, some reports say that was 70,000 soldiers, but I think that's a little bit low, especially if we include the participants in the Tennessee maneuvers, which were the large-scale training exercises that further prepared soldiers for combat. Now, Camp Forrest wasn't the only military installation located in this immediate area. There were numerous Army Air Corps units that were stationed at William Northern Field, which is less than 2 miles from here, or was here. Most people know of it today as the Tullahoma Regional Airport. And when people tell me that they're unaware of any aviation bases that existed here, I tell them that there's such a rich aviation history in addition to Camp Forrest. So the next time as you're driving toward Northgate Mall, I want you to think about the gates of Northern Field, how it served as the entrance to the largest airport in Tennessee, and by some accounts rivaled many of the more well-known military airports during that time period. Throughout World War II, the 1,300-acre installation served as advanced aviation training grounds. Some of the more well-known units to train there were the 17th Airborne and the 48th Fighter Bomber Group. I want to take a moment to also remember the airport's namesake, William Lee Northern, Jr. Second Lieutenant Northern was the first Tennessean killed in World War II. There were fatalities that occurred as training accidents, vehicle crashes, drownings, plane crashes at Camp Forrest and Northern Field. Now, while those individuals may not have died on the battlefield or from wounds sustained in combat, we will remember their sacrifices today as well. I think it's safe to say that Camp Forrest and Northern Field left an indelible legacy, not just on this community, but throughout the world. And I would say throughout the world, since there were so many military units, military men and women who trained here and were sent to the various theaters of war, many of whom did not return. Today is the day that we're going to reflect on their service to our nation. Statistics indicate that 416 Americans in World War II perished. How many of them may have passed through Camp Forrest or Northern Field, I can't honestly say. But it has been reported that 1 in 7 on the European front trained at some point in Tennessee, which is a testament to this state. Our war dead left loved ones with heavy hearts, but we need to also consider the loss to our nation for what that soldier may have accomplished upon his or her return. World War II changed the course of history. From my research, I feel confident in saying that Camp Forrest and Northern Field played a major role in the outcome of the war, as well as the course of future events. And we must always remember the sacrifices that were made. As I close, I want us to all remember it's our duty to ensure the memories of soldiers who never made it out of uniform never fade, or worse, become forgotten. Their legacies live not within our hearts and our immediate communities, but throughout the world. And I would like to very much thank the veterans that are here with us today and to reflect on their comrades that didn't return home to us. Thank you very much for your service for us and what you've done for us, past, present, and future. I very much appreciate your time today, and thank you for listening.
I know our students are here, so I'm going to call you to come to the front. Brady and Caden and Carly and our committee, Bunny Comer, Sandy Ennis. Yeah, I knew y'all were here. This is a joy to us as a garden club, and you probably wonder, what has a garden club got to do with all this? It's just that at the end of World War I, the Gold Star was created to honor those who have, to honor the families who have lost a loved one in the service of our country. At the end of World War II, the Blue Star was created to honor anyone who has worn the uniform of the armed forces. And these memorials were done. Bunny, I see you. Come up here. You're on the committee. These memorials were done to honor, and it was done by a garden club. So it was only through a garden club that they could be erected. And so the Shady Grove Garden Club is happy to have done this. We are thrilled by the reception of the community. This is the 4th year the Shady Grove Garden Club has awarded $2,000 scholarships to 3 local high school seniors. The money is accrued from the sale of the pavers. Therefore, we have to thank you for your part in furthering their education by buying a paver. Our committee consists of Bunny Comer, Sandy Ennis, and myself, and we select deserving students after carefully evaluating their resumes, interviews, and they must be a descendant of a veteran. So let's welcome Brady Welch, Tullahoma High School, Carly Works, Moore County High School, and Caden Davis, Coffee County High School. They're going to tell you just a little bit about where they're going and their goals.
So my name's Brady Welch. I'm the Tullahoma High School recipient of the Veterans Memorial Scholarship. I'm headed to Middle Tennessee State University this fall. I'm going to double major in music performance and computer science. So after college, I'm planning on wanting to be a software engineer. Hopefully, fingers crossed for NASA. I've always had an interest in space, so I want to be a part of that. During my time at MTSU, I plan to be a member of the Marching Band of Blue, and I also would like to join student government and give back to the community and the school as much as I can with the funds that I've received and with my service. I want to thank Ms. Sandy Sebren and the Scholarship Committee. Thank you all so much for this scholarship. It really means a lot to me. And I want to thank all of the active members of service that are here and also not here, as well as the veterans that may be here or elsewhere. We could not be where we are today without your courage and your strength. So thank you all.
Good morning, everybody. I am Caden Davis, and I am the Coffee County Central High School recipient of the Veterans Memorial Scholarship. And this fall, I will attend Mississippi State University to double major in professional and broadcast meteorology. And with that said, after college, I plan on going to whichever market accepts me and being a broadcast meteorologist, which has been a dream of mine since I was 3 years old and discovered when I was born on the exact day Hurricane Katrina struck. So therefore, I really want to be out there to save lives, just as Katrina sadly took the lives of well over 1,000 innocent people. And just beforehand, I want to give my special thanks to the Scholarship Committee here for giving me this blessed opportunity, because what they do truly means a lot. And then all the veterans who are here and who are not here as well. I mean, it's simple as this. They're out there in the front line sacrificing everything. And by everything, I mean their entire lives for not only me, but for our whole nation. But if it wasn't for them, I would not have the freedom or choice to pursue the dream that I've had since I was born. Thank you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Carly Works, the Moore County High School recipient of the Veterans Memorial Scholarship. After high school, I plan to attend the University of Alabama in Huntsville to pursue a degree in aerospace engineering. Once I receive my degree, I hope to work at NASA. I've always had an interest in space, so I would like to work there. I would also like to thank Mrs. Sebring and the Scholarship Committee for awarding me this scholarship. Because of them, they are allowing me to pursue my degree and further my education. I would also like to thank all of the veterans here and not here for their service. It means a lot to be able to stand here in front of everyone. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Richard Ellis, Commander, Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard retired, and now President of the Tullahoma, of the Vanderbilt Harton Tullahoma Hospital. He will read the names of the new 29 pavers.
Okay, pavers are being dedicated in honor and in naming the following veterans: John D. Brandon, Robert T. Brazier, J.W. Brazier, James C. Boyd, James David Buckman, David George Burns, Donald Buddy Carr, Roy Eckert, John C. Gafford, Brett A. Hart, Clyde Hatchett, Levi Herod, Frederick N. Kite, James C. Maxey, Terrence R. McCabe, Joseph B. McCabe, Michael J. McGregor, Peter McGregor, Judd E. Matheny, Robert A. Millen, George B. Morton, Thomas F. Parrish Jr., Kelvin Doc Robertson, Stephen T. Tate, Jack T. Tate, Henry Terzian, Billy R. Tips, William Warwick, and William R. Whitehead. Let's have a round of applause in their honor. Thank you.
My name is Ringo, here at Barkview Senior Living. They're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. A Parkview Senior Living. For your dog's best friend, you.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, mate? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. Yeah, you even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop with Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration, your #1 hometown HVAC company. We offer dependable and reliable service on all your HVAC equipment. We also offer high-efficiency trained cooling units. Call us for your cooling needs. Your comfort is what we do.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Peggy,
we've made it through.
We made it through the show today.
We miss you, John, but we survived.
It was awful nice to be back and working with the.
I know, it was good to see you again, and I still love your pink tie.
Well, thank you very much.
I do. I love your pink tie.
And I've had a couple of nice guests in today, and
we sure did. Miss Emma working in the city.
Yeah, she acts like she's going to be a great asset to the city of Tullahoma.
And of course,
yeah. And our good friend Jackie.
Oh yeah, Jackie
as
always.
Jackie,
got something to say.
Right.
And often he'll be saying it, and he's got something else he's going to say, but we don't have time. So he's coming back. He'll be back.
Jackie fills a very important role on the show because he comes every week, but he never knows if he's got 2 minutes or
20.
15. Yeah, he don't know.
He's a fabulous individual.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. So are you, and it's good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm glad to be here today.
I know.
Glad to be here today. Hopefully John will be recovered enough next week to be back and take his normal place here.
He probably will. I've just encouraged him not to overdo.
Right, exactly.
It's real easy to jump up and do too much.
That's why we have to stop and think,
well, we hope you'll show up at some of the events that's happening. I guess we have to go.
That's right. We'll see you next week.